to adopt new politics and new democracy. While we do not believe, ladies and gentlemen, while we do not believe that there is a perfect government anywhere in the world, we do believe that some governments are actually better than other governments. We do believe that these governments that are better are measured by the manner in which they manage the affairs of their people. UPND may have already made mistakes, and they have in their initial days, and they shall make many more mistakes during their time in government. But it is not a secret that the UPND government is many, many times better than the Patriotic Front government. And this is a stubborn truth. We did not win this election, but we must face the truth that is before us. We have a history with the Patriotic Front, which brought this nation to its knees, democratically and economically. Yes, we can't give too much praise to the UPND. They have not lasted that long. But we can look at the entrance and the first 60 days of them being in office, as I've already narrated the first 60 days of the Patriotic Front in 2011. So in the PF-UPND transition, the PF are freely wearing their party regalia. You can go to any market, you can walk through town, and you are going to find that PF people are proudly wearing their PF t-shirts. It never happened in 2011 because PF was brutal and they wanted to diminish the very prospects of the movement for multi-party democracy. The vehicles of the PF and other properties have not been grabbed from them. They still have their vehicles and they still have their properties, and they were not hounded out of their offices. They still have their property in their hands, although government has changed. Hardly any arbitrary arrests have taken place, and those who have been arrested have been treated with respect by being granted bail and appearing in court within the prescribed 48 hours. Constitutional office holders have not been hounded out like dogs, like in the last regime in 2011. Some of them are still holding office 60 days after governments changed. Although the temptation to brutalize the suspected thieves from the last regime would be justified and praised by many Zambians, the new administration has exercised great restraint at great cost, in fact, to this new president, President Hakainde Hichilema, to his image. He has been accused of being slow and harboring criminals. He has also been accused of abandoning his members by not giving them the jobs being held by the Patriotic Front. Our interpretation of his conduct is that he wishes probably to change the template of governance, respect the rule of law and the rights of every citizen, regardless of party affiliation. If it does what PF did in 2011, then what was the purpose of the change in August? If he replaces PF cadres by his cadres in doing evil and good, what progress would we have made as a people as a result of that election? Change, ladies and gentlemen, is both costly and lonely. Those of us who suffer daily at the hands of the Patriotic Front are encouraged, and I must be honest, I didn't win this election. But I'm encouraged that the UPND has chosen higher ground and not to behave like PF behaved when they got us out of office. And this is the new politics that we want to start to talk about. While PF was obsessed with the destruction of the MMD, the UPND has left PF intact to participate in the new politics that has come. That didn't happen to us. The goal of PF was to destroy us and remove us from political space in our country. But having said this, allow me to give a short word to our colleagues in the United Party for National Development. The new democracy means that the victory of UPND must translate into everyone's freedom, every Zambian's freedom, having in mind that close to 80% of the 2.8 million Zambians who voted for change, 80% are not UPND members, but ordinary Zambians who were tired of the last regime. Zambians, unfortunately, including PF. Justice, therefore, must be for all Zambians. Once this level playing field is laid and thorough corruption investigations are done, then this same credible justice system must bring to book all those who abused their offices during their time in government. Corruption must be fought, and it must be fought mercilessly. The corrupt people have money, and this is the advice we are giving to our colleagues in the UPND, that the corrupt people have money in their hands. They still have contacts in the civil service. They have contacts in the SEC. They have contacts in DEC. They have contacts in FIC. They have contacts abroad. They have a strange mafia network. And with money in their hands, they make a dangerous force that can impede any prospect for progress and development in our country. And any slowness in dealing with this mafia group will cost the destiny of this country by frustrating any effort to democratize this nation for all of us. So we ask our colleagues to act with speed in dealing with the fight against corruption. And there must be zero tolerance to this type of behavior. Let's not transfer corruption from the last regime to the new regime. There must be courage on the part of President Hichilema to expose any one of his ministers who falls into the corruption trap, because these men and women who are now about to face jail, they are going to start to bribe or want to bribe the new dawn ministers so that they can protect them from prosecution. And we warn our colleagues, the UPND, do not fall into that trap. If you receive money from these people with the promise of protecting them from prosecution, you will not last. Zambians are not tolerant to corruption anymore. It doesn't matter whether you have just formed government. Stay away from corruption. Anybody who tries to corrupt you, report him. Your longevity in office, your longevity in leadership depends on your honesty and desire to serve the Zambian people honestly. Now, a short message to our colleagues in the Patriotic Front. Very short, very short. PF members, you are Zambians like all of us. But it is your arrogance that got you voted out of power. Your complaints, therefore, against mistreatment, alleged mistreatment, is the extension of your arrogance and unrepentant attitude. You have no moral right to complain right now, and I'll explain. Compared to how you handled MMD at transition, you are being handled with kids' gloves in a Sunday school classroom. That's how the PF is being handled. With kids' gloves in a Sunday school classroom. And now, because you are free and you think that you get away with all the injury, the pain that you caused to the Zambian people, you have started to complain that they are now mistreating us. There is no bigger mistreater in this country than the Patriotic Front. The tears that have been shed by many Zambians are as a result of the conduct of the previous government. So the Bible says you reap what you sow, meaning whatever you have sowed is what you shall reap. And the PF sowed hooliganism, barbarism, the behavior of people that look like they came from another country to govern us. They didn't even behave like Zambians. How can we call you a Zambian when you come and plunder the very little that we need to give to the poor, that we need to help the farmers grow food and feed their children? How can you be called a Zambian when you have no heart in dealing with the resources of this country? So today, I felt that I needed to mention to the PF that please stop complaining. It's too early. Zambia waits for your repentance and restitution before they can ever look at you again. Please, PF, do not tempt God and the Zambian people on this side of the Red Sea or this side of the Jordan. Don't tempt God. Don't tempt the Zambian people. Show some remorse. Show that you are sorry, so that together we can rebuild our nation. Now allow me to announce the #1 resolution that our party made on the 2nd of October through our National Executive Committee. The second opportunity before us is the UPND victory at the last election. It is at this point that we all need to reflect and see how we can build for ourselves a society that respects and embraces all. Zambians have delivered the change. It is up to us political leaders across political lines to look for ways to support the Zambian people to now work their decision of having changed government. Public service should never be about me as a person. It should never be about Nevers Mumba as a person. Whether I lose an election or win an election, my interest must be for the public good. In the last 60 days, the new UPND government has laid out its basic agenda, both in word and in deed. I must confess that I have followed every statement, every speech that has been made by this new president, President Hakainde Hichilema, and the UPND. I have listened with my heart and with my ears. I have looked at their activities, of their intentions of what they want to do. And the question that we must ask today is their agenda good for Zambia? Or is it a repeat of the Patriotic Front world of politics of promises? And then they go the opposite direction. And after a lengthy debate of the National Executive Committee, MMD resolved the question. The New Hope MMD resolved in its last net meeting to therefore enter into a partnership with the UPND based on shared values, reflection on our aspirations, and the foundation upon which we intend to build the future of our country. It has been resolved that we enter into a partnership based on the core policy positions of the rule of law, the anti-corruption fight, the repeal of the Public Order Act, rebuilding the economy, the strategy for debt repayment, uniting the nation across tribe and political affiliations, restoration of human rights, and renewed foreign policy that places Zambia on the global round table of debate on an equal footing. Our goal is to support these values and ensure that this new administration and the new UPND government, our desire is that they succeed, because their success is the success of our children and also your success. We do not belong to the type of politics that works on making sure we pull down those that are trying to do the right thing. But we belong to the group that pulls down those that are injuring the prospects of our people and of our nation. And wherever we find those, we pull them down. But those who are making an effort to improve the quality of life of our people, we stand behind them. This is the new politics. So during our campaign, we emphasize these values and see no reason why we should change our minds over what we believe in just because another party won the election. While we may not agree with every position taken by UPND, and we don't agree with every position, just like many of you, we do, however, agree with their expressed intentions to renew our democracy and rebuild our economy. These are good and non-partisan intentions. By supporting these values, we do not suggest that we lose our potency as a party to criticize any departure by the UPND from these values which have attracted us into this partnership. To the contrary, we shall bring positive criticism which adds value to the building and rebuilding of a united and prosperous country. I have been both in opposition and I've been also in government as vice president. And I do know that the ideas that we give, the advice that we give to this government are valuable ideas, but they cannot be accepted by this governing party if this governing party and President Hichilema believes that I'm saying those things just for political reasons or because I want to depose him, remove him so that I can take over. Every advice I give in that space will not be accepted by this government. I am determined that what I carry, what our party carries, is worthwhile information and advice that must find a resting place in the ears and hearts of our colleagues who are governing us. And the only way they can believe us is for them to know that we mean well. We support them. We don't want them to fail. We want them to succeed. If there will be any failure, it will not be caused by us. It will be caused by themselves. But I know that if a leader is given support, even if he's a weak leader, he will succeed. A strong leader who is not given support by his people, it doesn't matter how strong he is, he shall not succeed. That's where we get the saying, divided we fall, but united we succeed and we move forward. So today, our stand is basically because anytime President Hakainde hears my challenge or criticism, he is going to know that never means well. And he understands that we must consider this issue. And in order to get to that place, we want our colleagues to know that this partnership that we have forged is supposed to work to help the Zambian people receive that which this governing party wants to give to them, which is the healing of the economy and the restoration of democracy. By supporting these virtues and values, we do not suggest that we lose our potency. To the contrary, we shall bring positive criticism which adds value to the rebuilding of a united and prosperous nation. Anything good deserves to be supported regardless of who is championing it. Let me now talk about our new democracy as I go towards the close. The New Hope commits itself to supporting fully the values that we share with the Upnd administration. We support the will of the majority of Zambians who have mandated this new administration to give us a new type of democracy where every Zambian is free to express themselves without being afraid of being arrested, where every Zambian is free to belong to any political party without the fear of being marginalized. It's the insecure ruling parties that give power to the undeserving political leaders to assume power. By restricting their freedom of expression, you are shielding some politicians from exposing their ignorance. I want to say this, that it is very important for the ruling party to understand that the behavior of PF, where they blocked all of us, for instance, from participating in public life or appearing on ZNBC or being reported by the Daily Mail or Times of Zambia, did not help that ruling party, because you have no understanding that that opposition leader needs to be exposed on ZNBS so that Zambians can say, let them be exposed so that we are judged according to what we can offer the Zambian people. But by stopping us as the opposition, you are protecting us from scrutiny by the Zambian people. So Zambian people will always believe we are better than those in government because we are not allowed to speak. So they start to believe, well, the opposition is better than the ruling party because they are hearing the ruling party talking all the time and making mistakes all the time. In the last election, as we were campaigning on the Copper Belt, we found that there was hardly any poster for the opposition. It was all PF. Any poster of the opposition was put down. It was all PF, and they lost big. You know why? Because Zambians begin to think it's too much of you. You are not the only ones. What about the others? And I want to say the same today to our colleagues as they now lead this nation. This freedom of expression must not be tampered with. The Upnd, therefore, must be different from the Patriotic Front. They must allow freedoms to every Zambian. When opposition parties criticize the new government, the response should not be irrational and combative. The government must instead be above cheap politics of exchanging insults like it was in the past. I remember any time that I challenged the late President Michael Sata about something in government, his response was never, "You are useless. You're a finished politician. In fact, I know your mother." And he starts to go on a totally different direction to attack and insult and injure my person. I said to the UPND, let's raise the bar from that type of useless and empty politics. It does not matter how offensive the opposition sounds to you as government. Do not succumb to answering them in a manner that satisfies the low level of politics we were experiencing the past 10 years. We can change the politics of our country by the manner in which we respond to low politics. Calling all opposition leaders, the government must instead be above cheap politics of exchanging insults like in the past. The answers or the politics of calling opposition leaders as finished politicians or Mr. Zero in politics. This type of politics must be abandoned by the ruling party. There's no Mr. Zero in politics. He can be zero today, tomorrow he will beat you and you'll be the zero. That's just the way politics is. Today you are the one flying high, tomorrow you are not the one flying high. In 2011, 2016, it was Mr. Lungu and PF flying high, not HH, not UPND. They called them Hakalusa, Kalusa, all they wanted. But when your time and season has come, all the zeros you call your friends, all the Kalusas you call your friends disappears with the air, and all that remains is for you apologizing every day. May you find it in your heart to forgive me for what I said. Let's reduce on apologies by ensuring that we become civil in our politics, respectful in our politics. Today you are on top, tomorrow you'll be at the bottom. That's what life is all about. And I said to Zambian people, let's change the politics. That's why I salute my colleagues, President Hakainde, for winning this election. And I vowed to stand with him, to support him to succeed, so that my children can also succeed. That's what this thing is all about. That's what this thing is all about. Because if he fails for the next 5 years, and then I take over after 5 years or 10 years, then I'll take over from nothing, and my job will be more complicated. But if he succeeds now, then my success will be even more guaranteed, or another leader's success will be more guaranteed. This is why we have taken this type of opposition, of being able to support that which is good and denounce that which is bad. That's the new politics that we bring. The answers by government must be based on responsible responses, regardless of how provocative the criticism might be. This is the only way we shall change the toxic politics of our country. This is what new democracy looks like. Michelle Obama was right when she said, when they go low, we go high. And that is the type of politics we encourage our colleagues to do. Now, very quickly, to change the old politics, UPND must publicly condemn any violence carried on in their name. They must publicly condemn any victimization of non-UPND members. The new government must publicly and consistently guide the police to be professional and arrest criminals regardless of which party they belong to. The government must publicly guide public media houses to serve all Zambians and not the ruling party alone. Most public institutions are fatally wounded and cannot discharge justice and equity. They have been abused for so long by successful governments that they have become impotent. ZNBC is a very good example of this abuse. ZNBC has been abused for so long by successful governments that they are fatally injured. Even when President Hakainde Hichilema told them, please report on everybody, open up the space, ZNBC can't do it because they are paralyzed. They will need, number one, time, everyday assurance, massaging their paralysis, and making sure the paralysis is healed because they have been paralyzed by previous governments. Even now, after President Hakainde said, cover everybody, they have gone back to what they used to be. The first item is President Hakainde Hichilema. The second one is Vice President Nalumango. The third one is the Minister of Health. The fourth one is the DC in Kalabo. Because that's how they have been poisoned. They won't change without the support of this government. The government must constantly take them for massage so that those crippled conditions can be straightened out to become a public service for all Zambians. And I'm glad today that ZNBC is here today. I think. Are they not? Yes. They are here today. And I hope that this will continue. Don't stop anywhere. Just keep going. If any members of UPND come to you and say you are reporting the opposition, or you are not reporting our president or something, give them the tape from the inauguration of the president where he released you to belong to the people of Zambia in your reporting, so that they can know the intention of this president is that democracy comes back. But it will be difficult for me to end this without explaining what this partnership is all about. It is for the new government to steer back these institutions into being professional, and then if this happens, then we can all truly say Zambia now shall be saved. Now, this partnership, the New Hope MMD has resolved to forge a partnership with the UPND based on a set of common values. We shall support every effort by the new government to deliver on these fundamental policy positions. These are policy positions we would have employed had Zambians given us the mandate to govern this country at this time. President Hichilema and I have discussed this partnership based on our shared values. So, before sharing them with you, President Hakainde and myself have sat down to discuss these matters, and we are in total agreement. This is not, I must emphasize, this is not an entry into the UPND alliance, as that is a separate process. This is a partnership to support what we believe is a positive program for the Zambian people. The UPND has so far demonstrated a clear determination to pursue the following policies which agree with ours. And on these policies, we agree and form the basis of our partnership. Number one is the rule of law, bringing order to this country. You know this has already come into place at marketplaces and also at bus stops. This is one thing we were going to do immediately we got into government. There's no need for me to be angry that President Hakainde has decided to do it. I must support this because it reflects what we promised the Zambian people. That's civility in politics, and that's morality in politics. The second point on which we agree and shall support each other is on the fight against corruption. You are aware that when I was Vice President under Levi Mwanawasa, this was our flagship with President Mwanawasa: zero tolerance against corruption. We shall work with our colleagues in the UPND, both in word and in deed, to stand solidly behind ensuring that the fight against corruption succeeds. The only thing we are telling our colleagues, please, the agencies responsible for this, speed up your actions before criminals hide and destroy evidence. Don't be too slow, because you are dealing with a desperate crowd that, given one day, they are going to do amazing things of trying to hide evidence from the security wings. The third thing we agree on is the repeal of the Public Order Act. Zambia's democracy will never amount to anything until the Public Order Act is repealed. President Hakainde Hichilema has pledged that he's going to look into this matter of the Public Order Act. On this basis, we stand solidly with him until it's done. So the Zambian people can believe in us that we will stand until this thing is done, because I know what it means to be in power. I've been in power before. Sometimes we forget some of the most critical things we promised. But you know that with us there supporting the president on these issues, we shall constantly, in fact, start to sing songs or compose songs that remind them about these matters which matter to us. Number 4, the fourth area of our commitment is the unity of the nation. To ensure that tribalism never again raises its head in our country. To ensure that partisan politics that retard progress are taken care of. The 5th one is the economy, the growth of the economy. A strategy in how to deal with clearing our debt stock. Without clearing our debt stock, we cannot improve the economy. So we agreed on this one. The 6th thing we agreed upon is human rights. All men are created equal. And we ensure that everyone, regardless of your tribe, your gender, or your qualification, or race, you are going to be entitled to all the benefits of being a Zambian. Number 7, which is the last foundation that we have agreed on, and we are going to stand by them, is to renew foreign policy, a place on the global round table. Over the past 10 years, Zambia had no respect on the international stage. And we believe that time has come for Zambia to be the word being repeated on all forums, including SADC, AU, United Nations, and any global forum. Zambia must be the name to refer to of a successful democracy, and we hope to be part of making this thing a success. The country has already shifted from the spirit of lawlessness to the process of creating order. Our partnership is meant to encourage Zambians to learn how to support what is good for the nation regardless of who is doing good. Upnd has chosen the right path, and our partnership is meant to help them to stay on that path. We remain committed to this partnership to the end, unless and until the Upnd decides to abandon these values. As long as Upnd remains on this positive side and path, we remain committed to being dependable partners both in word and in deed, with effect from today. As long as Upnd remains committed to these values that Zambians have been looking forward to, we also remain committed to this partnership and to the support of them implementing these values on behalf of the Zambian people. And as I speak, finally, allow me to just put in the last word about my own journey. I'm aware that some of my personal friends, and I wanted to say this today as I close, some of my personal friends, family and church members have been distraught about my turbulent political journey. Each time I stumble and fall, they share both in my pain and in my shame. They weep in their private and silent moments for me, and sometimes call me in the late hours of the night, in the early hours of the morning. Dr. Mumba, just abandon it all together. Throw in the towel, it's not worth it. We want you the way you used to be, a man who was not criticized or insulted. Please leave this. We can't sleep. We can't fathom it. I want to confess I want to say that I hear you, I feel you, and I see your tears as you join me in this pain. But I want to assure both my friends and opponents today that my strength to continue on this path or not to continue does not depend on how many times I fail, but on the lifelong vision of Zambia shall be saved. That is why I'm still in this race. The fact that my time to deserve maybe your support has not yet come does not mean it shall never come. Habakkuk in the Bible says, write your vision down and make it plain. It may delay, but it shall surely come to pass. My focus is on the big picture, the nation of Zambia. The party may fail me, the church may fail me, but God shall never fail me. And that's where my confidence comes from. Those of you who have followed my journey know that I have never been given simple assignments by God. My call to preach was more painful than was visible to the naked eye. I was fought as a young preacher, humiliated and called a failed preacher. I know you don't believe that because some of you have only known me as a successful preacher. But I was called a failed preacher in my early days. But we fought until something broke in the church arena. So the pain and failure that I have experienced in politics is not new to me. But like in the past assignment in the church, we shall overcome even in this sector because it's still the same God. So fellow countrymen and women, let me assure you that I shall never quit. Never. Like my name, never. I shall not quit. Yeah. I am determined to support any progressive good for my country. Some have even gone as far as pronouncing me to be on a sabbatical leave. I am not on leave. The Bible says he who puts his hand to the plow must never look back. I am not looking back until Zambia is saved. I am not looking back until I see the fortunes of the Zambian people improved and enhanced. That's what my life has been dedicated to. I've already placed it on the altar for that. I am not on leave. I am leader of the New Hope movement for multi-party democracy. And as of today, we have further partnered with our colleagues in the Upnd to deliver on the 7 common values that I've already alluded to. This is not a compromise on my part. It is part of the process of supporting what is good for the nation. And I ask all progressive Zambians to join us in the use of this newfound freedom to improve the quality of life of all Zambians. I thank you, and may God bless our great republic. Viva Upnd!